Have you ever felt like everything in your life seems fine? Your health, your routine, your medications, yet something deep inside you starts to fade? That spark, that passion, that drive slowly slipping away, and you can't figure out why. It's not your age. It's not your stress. It's something far more silent, something you trusted to heal you, but is quietly stealing your energy from within. Today, you're about to discover a truth that scientists rarely speak of and doctors almost never explain. 5 common medications that might save your life, but silently destroy your most human connection, your desire, your emotions, your intimacy. This isn't just about the body, it's about the soul. Because sometimes, the very pill meant to make you feel better can quietly take away what makes you feel alive. Stay till the end, because what you'll hear today is the truth that's been right in front of you all along, but no one ever dared to tell you. Many people take prescription medications every day without realizing that some of these drugs can quietly interfere with one of the most intimate parts of human life, sexual function. It's not because the medicines are harmful in the traditional sense, but because of how deeply they interact with the body's chemistry. Sexual desire, performance, and satisfaction are not controlled by one single organ or hormone. They depend on a complex interaction between the brain, nervous system, hormones, and blood circulation. When a drug influences even one of these systems, it can shift that balance and cause changes that are often unexpected. Scientists understand this relationship, but it's rarely discussed openly. The medical world tends to focus more on treating the main disease or condition, and less on how those treatments may quietly affect personal relationships or emotional well-being. The brain plays a central role in sexual drive. Chemicals such as dopamine, serotonin, and norepinephrine regulate mood, motivation, and desire. When medications change the levels of these neurotransmitters, the results can include emotional dullness, reduced energy, and less interest in sex. Antidepressants, especially selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors (SSRIs), are one of the most common examples. They help stabilize mood and reduce anxiety, but in doing so, they raise serotonin levels in the brain. High serotonin can suppress dopamine, a chemical associated with pleasure and reward. When dopamine drops, the brain's excitement response weakens, leading to low libido, difficulty with arousal, or even complete loss of interest. Many people start these medications for anxiety or depression, feel emotionally better, yet later notice that intimacy no longer feels the same. The paradox is painful. The drug that restores mental balance can unintentionally steal emotional connection. Hormones are another key factor in this equation. Certain medications alter the production or activity of sex hormones such as testosterone and estrogen. These hormones are responsible for desire, stamina, and sensitivity. Birth control pills, for example, are designed to prevent ovulation by regulating estrogen and progesterone levels. But the same hormonal balance that stops pregnancy can also decrease natural testosterone production in women, which plays a major role in sexual motivation. In men, medications used to treat prostate enlargement or hair loss, like finasteride, block the conversion of testosterone to its active form. This can result in a sharp drop in libido, erectile difficulties, and even emotional numbness. Many users are shocked to discover that these effects sometimes continue even after the medication is stopped. Researchers are still trying to understand why some individuals experience long-term changes while others recover quickly. Blood flow is another essential component of sexual health, and certain drugs directly interfere with it. Medications that control blood pressure are life-saving, but their mechanism can unintentionally reduce circulation to areas of the body that rely on strong blood flow for arousal. Beta blockers, for instance, slow down the heart rate and relax blood vessels, easing pressure on the heart. However, they also reduce the body's ability to deliver enough blood to the reproductive organs, leading to difficulties in maintaining arousal or physical readiness. Similarly, some diuretics used for hypertension reduce overall fluid levels and can cause fatigue or low energy, making the physical aspect of intimacy feel more like a chore than a desire. People often don't connect these physical sensations to the pills they take daily because the changes are gradual and subtle. The emotional side of sexual function is just as important as the physical one. Many medications influence how people feel about themselves or their partners. Anti-anxiety drugs, sedatives, and certain painkillers like opioids work by calming the nervous system and dulling sensations of discomfort. Over time, this dullness can spread to emotions, leaving people detached or indifferent to experiences that once brought pleasure. The body might be capable of responding, but the brain doesn't send the same signals of excitement or anticipation. It's not that love disappears, but the biological machinery that fuels passion becomes less active. Scientists have observed that long-term use of some sedatives reduces dopamine activity and rewires parts of the reward system in the brain, making natural pleasures, including intimacy, feel less rewarding. There's also a social and psychological layer to this issue. Many patients feel uncomfortable discussing sexual side effects with doctors. When a physician prescribes a medication for high blood pressure, depression, or hormonal imbalance, the main focus is usually survival, safety, and disease control. Bringing up sexual problems may seem awkward or less important compared to the illness being treated. As a result, people silently tolerate these side effects, believing something is wrong with them rather than recognizing it as a predictable reaction. This silence makes it even harder for researchers and clinicians to gather accurate data about how widespread these issues really are. While scientists are aware of these patterns, the topic doesn't always reach public discussion because it's sensitive, personal, and tied to social taboos about sexuality. Another subtle reason these effects are rarely discussed is that they're often considered a trade-off. If a medication saves a person's life, the medical community may regard sexual side effects as a minor issue compared to the disease itself. However, for many individuals, sexual health is a vital part of overall well-being. Losing that part of life can lead to emotional stress, relationship tension, and even the return of the very anxiety or depression that the medication was supposed to treat. This creates a cycle where a treatment intended to heal ends up introducing a different kind of suffering. People may change prescriptions on their own or stop treatment entirely, which can be dangerous. Scientists and health professionals are becoming more aware of this problem, but conversations about it still happen behind closed doors rather than in public education. When a medication interferes with sexual function, the problem isn't usually permanent or irreversible. The body has an amazing ability to adapt and recover, but only if the cause is identified and managed properly. Doctors can adjust dosages, switch to different drugs, or recommend supportive therapies. In some cases, lifestyle factors like diet, exercise, and sleep can help restore natural hormone balance and improve circulation. Stress management plays a major role too, because high stress levels magnify the effects of medications on the body's chemistry. Despite these solutions, many people never seek help simply because they don't know what's happening to them. They might blame age, fatigue, or emotional disconnection, unaware that the real culprit could be a pill taken for something completely unrelated. Scientific studies have shown that the interaction between medications and sexual health is complex and individual. Two people can take the same drug, and one might experience severe side effects while the other feels none. Genetics, lifestyle, mental health, and even diet can all influence how the body metabolizes certain chemicals. For example, one person might process an antidepressant quickly, leaving less impact on brain chemistry, while another person's slower metabolism allows serotonin to build up and suppress dopamine for longer periods. These small differences explain why medical experiences can vary so widely and why blanket advice is rarely effective. That's also why scientists remain cautious about making broad claims, preferring to focus on the biochemical mechanisms rather than personal experiences. Behind all of this is the quiet truth that human biology is delicate. When we intervene with Michael's designed to fix one part of the system, another part inevitably feels the impact. Medicines that save lives or bring emotional balance can, without intention, steal away the spark of passion that gives those lives meaning. It's not a sign of weakness or brokenness when this happens. It's a reflection of how interconnected our body systems are. Every emotional response, every physical sensation, and every moment of intimacy depends on a symphony of signals, hormones, neurotransmitters, and blood flow all working in perfect harmony. When one instrument plays too loudly or too softly because of medication, the music of desire begins to fade. Scientists continue to explore how to design medications that treat disease without disrupting this natural balance. Some new antidepressants, for example, are being developed with less impact on dopamine and sexual response. There are also alternative approaches like behavioral therapy and natural supplements that support both mood and hormonal health without strong chemical interference. But the process is slow, and pharmaceutical innovation takes years of testing before it reaches the public. Until then, awareness is the best protection. Understanding that medications can affect sexual health allows people to ask better questions, make informed decisions, and avoid unnecessary suffering in silence. Ultimately, this subject reminds us that medicine is not just about curing illness, it's about preserving quality of life. Doctors and patients need to view sexual health as an integral part of overall wellness, not as a secondary concern. A conversation that begins with honesty and respect can often solve what feels like an invisible problem. The medications that quietly suppress desire or energy do not define a person's worth or capacity for intimacy. They simply reflect the delicate balance between healing and human connection that science is still learning to master. In the end, the truth is simple yet powerful. Our bodies are beautifully complex, and every pill we take has the potential to touch more than just the illness it's meant to treat. The medications that quietly interfere with sexual health are not villains. They are tools that must be used with awareness and understanding. What truly matters is knowledge, knowing how these drugs work, paying attention to our bodies, and communicating openly with healthcare professionals. When we understand that chemistry, hormones, and emotions are deeply connected, we can protect both our physical health and our intimate relationships. Science continues to advance, and as awareness grows, we move closer to a world where healing doesn't have to come at the cost of happiness or connection. May this knowledge empower you to take charge of your health, ask the right questions, and never ignore what your body tries to tell you. Every step you take toward awareness is a step toward a stronger, healthier, and more confident version of yourself. Thank you for watching Stay In For Med. Stay curious, and always take good care of yourself. Good luck on your journey to a balanced and fulfilling life.